evening, folks. Good evening. It is Tuesday indeed. Tuesday, if it's 8 p.m., it's the Robert Duverny Show. Again, those of you, my fellow Americans, those of you all already logged into the Robert Duverny Show, I'd like to thank you for being a loyal fan of the Robert Duverny Show. Although I've been under the weather the past few days, but the good Lord has allowed me to be here with you this evening for a good cause. As you know, on Tuesday, we have taken an oath to serve the community to the best of our ability. So every now and then I'll be clearing up my throat. But as you know, there's some kind of virus out there. But fortunately, you're behind the screen here. You should be fine. You won't get my cold. But thank you, those of you who always send me good regards. I'd like to thank you. Well, folks, well, tonight, as usual, we normally have a wonderful show for you, packed with information. I'd like for you to call your friend or colleague, let them know that the Robert Duverny Show is on. If it's Tuesday, if it's 2000 hours, it's the Robert Duverny Show. Well, I'm going to allow you a few seconds to log in to call a family member. Just a little recap. Last Tuesday, we had a wonderful show as usual, and we had a few comments. And there are those who sent me some texts, and I think it was great on the debate. I think it's always good to do a little review of what we discussed the week prior, and the excitement, and of course, if there was some judgment, of course, if there were any suggestions and questions as well. Again, at the Robert Duverny Show, we encourage your point of view, and then this is a platform that was created with you in mind, no one else but you. Again, tonight, I'm encouraging you to again, call a friend or a colleague. We're about to start. We're going to delve into, just to give you some key points we're going to be discussing tonight. As you know, just last week we had President Biden delivered the State of the Union address to the nation. Again, this is something that the current president normally do every, normally it's the third Tuesday of January, but again, with everything in Washington, everything's been pushed back. So the State of the Union did not happen until late this year. As you know, just last Thursday, we were already in March. This was unheard, March the 7th, and that's when President Biden delivered the State of the Union. And well, the State of the Union is to give somewhat of an account of where we are as a nation, the progress that we have made, the decision that we have introduced, and at the same time where we're heading as a nation. I think these are some of the points that we're going to be discussing tonight. And of course, just last week as well, last Sunday, again, I did my first show in Creole for my Haitian speaking Creole participants. It was well received, and it was a good turnout, and I'd like to thank the Haitian community for being a strong supporter of the Robert Duverny Show. Well, again, based on the recent survey that has been conducted by the Robert Duverny Show, and of course with the staff, they want me to do a show at least once a week in Creole speaking, just so I can serve the community. Again, I think it's a duty as a public servant who have taken an oath to serve the nation. I think it's really important that we talk politics and social issues that are relevant to a particular community. And again, at the Robert Duverny Show, we're very impartial. I'm sure we're going to, down the road, there's going to be some more topics to discuss, and there's going to be more for you to get involved. Again, just real quick, we're going to be talking about Mr. Biden State of the Union. I'd like to give you a shot tonight. Those of you already logged in, thank you for logging in, and thank you for being a loyal fan of the Robert Duverny Show. And I want you to call a friend, a family member, because we are about to start. All right. So it's already 8:05. Well, tonight, folks, just like President Biden was said, folks. Well, President Biden was a keynote speaker, of course, State of the Union. And I should point out that this was President Biden I have not seen in a long time. As you know, I'll just go background of Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden, President Biden, was first elected to Congress in 1972. So when you do 72 to 2024, that's 52 years ago. So this is a man who's a seasoned politician. This is a man who's seen it all. When he got to the Senate, he was already in his, if you were to 52, he's 81 now, so technically he was 39 years old, right? 39. Young man. He was 29 years old. 29 years old. That's exactly what happened. Mr. Biden was 29 years old when he first joined the Senate. So Mr. Biden has a reputation of being somewhat hot. But then again, the State of the Union just last week really was an effort to silence the critics, the cynicism that has been going around for so long. And this is a man who has a lot to offer, and it is a man who have seen it all. This is a man who went through tragedy. This is a man who's seen quite a few presidents. This is a man who went through the Nixon impeachment. This is a man who's seen actually a lot. And he served with President Obama as his VP. Good evening, Mrs. Remy. Thank you for logging to the Robert Duverny Show. And those of you on Facebook, I'd like to give you a big shout out tonight. So Mr. Biden was somewhat, according to some, he was plugged in. Mr. Biden shows so much energy. I did not watch the State of the Union live, but I was able to watch it in replay. What I saw in President Biden was a man who was energized, a man who was driven, a man who wants to defend democracy at all costs. This is a man who really want to leave a legacy. This is what I caught of all that's been said. He put the passion out there, and he gave it all. He gave every ounce of himself. Sleepy Joe wasn't awake this night. And there are those who complain that President Biden was on some type of steroid. They should check him for drugs. Folks, I got news for you. Mr. Biden saved his best for last. He's tuned in for election. He's defending his case, and this election really will be about abortion, of course. And as he made a sounding point on abortion, I think most of the women who wants freedom, and then again, we're not here to promote any of those agenda that the current administration may have, not that we share their views. But what's important is, if we're talking about freedom means that being able to do what you want to do, where it's not you're not infringing on anyone, put it this way, whereas you're not endangering anyone. All right. So I believe that women, by all means, will come out for President Biden. I don't think men in Washington should have a say in what women decide to do. I think women in America are smart. Women in America have shown that they can be on the driver's seat. And we should not dictate what they do. I, for one, I enjoy seeing great women who made great stride, professional women who are ambitious, women who are driven by some type of agenda. And again, Mr. Biden really hit this home. Again, when it comes to the age issue, I think we could say that when asked about his age and how it affects his ability to be president, Mr. Biden had a starch answer. He said, "Watch me." That was a man with confidence. When Mr. Biden said, "Watch me," that means he has a couple of things under his sleeves. In all fairness, what I've seen both candidates, both candidate Trump and candidate Biden, for the White House position, I get a sense of a passion in Mr. Biden. I get a sense of there's no time like the present. I can see Mr. Biden, if a man will have to get into the ring to fight him, he will fight him, just to preserve the democracy here in the state. That's the sense I get. Whereas some others may want to differ regarding Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is a man who enjoyed the limelight, put it this way. Again, just last week, I touched on quite a few common things that the politicians and religious leaders may have in common. And I'm sure those of you who are watching Robert Duverny live can also go back to these clips and pick something for yourself. And this is the sense that I get out of President Biden. He's passionate. He's willing to drop everything that he has just to preserve democracy. Now, the same case could be made for President Trump, but he yet to prove that. And I think we have quite a few months left to keep this in mind. All right, so what stand out to me, well, we're going to go back to the actual State of the Union address. And then again, I told you from the top of the segment, State of the Union address is given by the current president, just to give you a sense of where we are as a nation and where we're going. And oftentimes we tend to be so busy and not paying attention to what the president has to say. I think it's very important as a father of the nation. It's always good to have some type of an assessment. I mean, this is something that we do even at our jobs that we work on a daily basis, that every so often as a manager, as a CEO of a company, I think it's always good to do some type of assessment. You should take the so to speak, the blood pressure of your company. Whereas you would invite employees, stockholders, and policyholders, or people who have stake in the company. They want to hear where we are, because if I invest some kind of money in any company, I would want to know how the company is doing, if it's worth moving forward. So that's exactly what President Biden has done just last week. On Thursday night, he delivered what a lot of his supporters have been waiting for. This is exactly what Mr. Biden did. So it was high energy. He gave a forceful speech. The man gave a speech unlike any other speech I've seen in recent years. And at times he taunted the Republicans with ad libs. When they heckle him, so we have those in the chamber who were screaming MAGA, who were screaming that's a lie, and he invited in. So that tells me he is a man of confidence. He is a man with so much clout. He invited in. As a matter of fact, he was interacting with them. If that's all you have, technically, well, Mr. Biden once said, look at the facts. I know you know how to read. Wow, I think that was a cheap shot right there. But again, it was worth it. Because, I mean, we as you know, just recently, one of the most conservative Republican in the Senate, Mr. Langford, was able to draft a piece of legislation with regards to the border. Again, that wasn't be something that President Biden would go along, even the progressive on the far left, to sign up with. But then again, the fact that there's a crisis, and then the other party has made this front and center of their campaign, so the White House had to march with this. So they were on board to sign it up, but then again, and the House wouldn't take it. So that's the reason why this thing died in the Senate, because what's the point of passing it in the Senate, and whereas it's not going to pass in the House? Well, so the reason why the House did not even entertain the idea of taking this bill is that President Trump said, well, I don't think it's a good bill. You guys should not do anything. Wait till I get in there. So that tells you he knows for sure that he's going to be in there. So don't do anything. All the credit should come to me. But one thing I know, folks, if we care so much about America, it doesn't matter if it's one day. If I could save the lives of one American, I've done it. I've done my job. Think about it. If these migrants who are coming on the southern border are so violent, are coming in to take our jobs, they're killing our kids, rape our women. If I could put a bill on the floor tonight, I would put it so that then can go on the president's desk and sign it. That's what I'm talking about. So that's the level of hypocrisy. So now you're going to tell me if a bill was introduced in February to until next year, by the time you get in office, that's a whole year. Now, are you going to tell me, well, let's not do anything about this, folks. Wait till I get inside here. Let's wait till I get in the White House. We'll take care of business. Now, what guarantee do you have? All right, hear me out now. You're going to have control of the Senate and the House. Please tell me. So it's just common sense. And then this is what we need in America. We need folks with common sense. I mean, our elected officials oftentimes do not possess common sense. Common sense is something that we, as a leader, you must govern with. Oftentimes, it's not going to look pretty. I'm sure we all want to look good every so often, but oftentimes there are risks that we take. We may not understand it from the get-go. I give you a prime example. For instance, Social Security. Social Security right now, we all love it. We all love Social Security, especially those who are in retirement age. They love Social Security because this is like a comfort zone. I mean, those of you who've worked hard, who pay taxes, who pay Social Security, Medicare, and this is a safety net when you do hit your mid-60s, and some of you may take early retirement age. I mean, but that's all fine. But again, at the beginning, Social Security was viewed as because the word social in there, and back in the 40s, and it was viewed as socialism. Think about it. Woodrow Wilson, who was the author of Social Security, he went through hell. They called him socialist. They called him all kind of names because it was novice. It was new. Oftentimes we are afraid of something because we don't know the technicality. We don't know the mechanics that goes into it. And just because we don't want to talk about it, we just give it a name, and at the same time we don't want to touch it. We give it all kind of names you can possibly think, just so we don't want to touch it. Well, that's exactly what happened here with this bill that was a bipartisan bill, and by Mr. Langford, very conservative man in the Senate, and yet there are those who scream that this is unacceptable. We cannot have it. I think that's wrong. That's hypocritical. That's been hypocrite. All right. So everybody wants to be seen as a hero, but you know what, folks? You can be your own hero by doing the small little things. Those small little things that many may not see it for some reason. I mean, oftentimes things that we do, it's not on the limelight. It's not glamorized. It's not, you're not on a pedestal. And then I'm looking at teachers. I mean, stay with me here. I mean, this is the beauty of the Robert Duverny Show. We touch on various of issues, and then they all intertwine. Just so you know, I'm looking at teachers, professors. These are folks who really give it all. They don't make that much money, but yet what they invest in you, the knowledge that they're giving you, it's priceless. You cannot put a price tag on it. But they don't do things to be recognized. Oftentimes, teachers they don't even have enough resources. They even have to go into their own little savings to bring supplies to the school because that's something that is dear to them. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, good evening. I'd like to give some kudos. I've seen some of you are just logging in right now. It's Nala. How you doing, buddy? Thank you for logging in. Thank you, my lovely Stacy, for logging in this evening to the Robert Duverny Show. Those of you may be coming right now. Again, we're talking about the President Biden State of the Union, which was given last week, Thursday. I'm sure you watched it. And we're talking about right now the importance of being transparent. And President Biden was transparent. And that's the reason why tonight we're touching on these issues. Again, when it comes to his age, Mr. Biden invited in. He said, "Well, I may be old, because you can hide it. You know, it's like there are folks. If you're old, you can hide it. Right? You're old. I mean, being old, I think it's a sign of a blessing." And oftentimes most people don't get to reach his age. He's 81 years old. Hey, cuz, how you doing, friends? Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Lewison, for logging in. Yeah, so as you can see, Mr. Biden took it right in. He said, my age is not an issue. As a matter of fact, I was born during World War II. He just sticking up to them. He said, I was born during World War II. But defending his vision for the country is fresh. You cannot lead America with ancient ideas, only take us back. Wow, I like this one. He said, you cannot lead America with ancient ideas. It only take us back. Wow. So to me, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. Regardless of your political views. Again, I'm not here. I'm not promoting any parties. But I'm all about common sense. I'm all about America. America, this is a land of opportunity. This is a land of the free, of the brave. It requires common sense. And that's the passion that I saw in President Biden. He's not here to make money. He got it already. The guy been in politics for 52 years, man. 52 years. Now, what else does he have to prove? He doesn't have to prove anything. But I think I always look at President Biden as an uncle, you know, one who loved his nieces, his nephews, and want the very best because he knows his time may be limited on earth, maybe numbered. Yet he wants to leave a better America. That's the sense that I get. All right. And that's the sense that I got. So, and this is what we should want in our leader. Our leaders should reflect the nation. I mean, both black, white, brown, yellow, you name it. And in passion and impartiality. It takes a real man to lead a nation. It's not easy to govern a country with so many ideas. And America is a big country. Diversity is rampant. And it requires someone with skills. It requires someone with knowledge of what's at stake. All right. Reverend St. Juice, thank you for logging in. Thank you, Pastor Lunia Gallen. Thank you for logging in as well. Well, tonight I have quite a few ministers with me on board. Well, thank you for logging to the Robert Duverny Show. I'm sure you've been a loyal fan of the Robert Duverny Show, and I encourage you to stay tuned for more of this show. It's already 8:25, and the show comes to you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. If it's Tuesday, if it's 20 hours, it's a Robert Duverny Show. Now, President Biden also talked about the war in Gaza. As you know, the Palestinian and the Israeli, they're fighting a war right now since October 7th, and it's an ongoing war. And there's tragedy, there's famine right now, and we want to see I'm shooting for. I want to see peace. I want to see a two-state resolution, and they both can leave. I mean, we all God's children, aren't we all? I think we just fact that we're not talking anymore, and we're not hearing each other. And if we do talk and we're so loud, I'm trying to cover you and you're trying to cover me, so we're just making matters worse. I think President Biden is working a fine line because we have a large community of Muslim in Michigan. As you know, Michigan is a battleground state, and Mr. Biden right now is moving toward to accommodate the Palestinian in Michigan, and there's a large community over there, and then the kids on the college campus, they have different views, and I think there's talks right now with the Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu of Israel, and I mean, to have a statement of Mr. Biden caliber to be able to talk to both sides, and by sending his Secretary of State to negotiate some kind of a deal, I think it's great progress, and this is what we want. And regardless of your views, and I think we need some humanitarian aid. I think they started flowing humanitarian aid in Gaza, and I believe that the Palestinians should also free the Israeli who were kidnapped. Pretty much, I think these people have nothing to do with you. So you bunch of cowards. I think that they should let these folks go free, and then deal with your issues with the military. That's what we want. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and when we all God's people live in peace, I think we have a better world. And that's exactly what Mr. Biden was doing in a nutshell. He was energized against, just to recap, and Mr. Biden was really at peace, and he was really energized. And then even Marjorie Taylor had nothing to do. Mrs. Marjorie Taylor from District 3 of Georgia. Bonner probably represent Reverend St. Jude's here. That's probably Reverend St. Jude's representative in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene is, she's a staunch supporter of MAGA, and you can see she was wearing the hat. And but in all honesty, I've good admiration for members of Congress. Anybody who's at the public level, who's serving. I think it takes a lot. It takes a lot from your family. It takes a lot away from your family. It's a sacrifice. But I'd like to see some quorum in the chamber. I want the next generation to want to serve. I want the next generation to emulate our elected leaders. And the same thing I do on this show. When I come on this show on a regular basis, I make sure I do, or at least I prepare my show, because there's audience of your caliber. Who could have been doing other things, could be watching TV or doing other things, but you chose to be here. So there's got to be a level of respect, of preparation. I'm sure if I were to ask Pastor St. Jude, he will tell me the same thing. I mean, he's a man who, before he goes before his congregation, he prepares his message. He's probably in prayer and consecration with God to give him a word for his people. So that, to me, it's a level of respect, and that's exactly what we want from our elected officials. To show some class, show civility, show respect for the office of the presidency. The whole world looks to us. They all look up to us. We are America. When we see people screaming top of their lungs at the chamber, calling people's name, bombastic comments, What does that say about us? Is that what your constituent sent you to Washington to do? To scream your top off? Come on. We can do better than that. Let's leave a legacy for future generation to say at one given time. Out of critical time, there were those who stand for justice. There were those who lost election. But the important thing, they never gave up. Folks, that's all I have for you this evening. Until next time, if you have any other questions, I'll be here with you for another 2 minutes. If there's no questions, we'll close this segment. Until next time. Again, the Robert Duverny Show comes to you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And also there's a show that we air on Sunday, which is done in Creole. And I'm going to continue my survey to see. Last Sunday, we talked about the Biden program, and it was strictly in Creole. And that's for our Creole speaking audience. And also on Tuesday, it's more for the general audience to participate. So again, stay tuned. Sign up to the Robert Duverny Show, and I got quite a few subscribers just from Sunday. I didn't know the Haitian community was after this show. That's very encouraging. I will definitely come by. I have a lot of stuff for them. I will be discussing with you this upcoming week on the Creole show. And stay tuned for more. And encourage a friend, a colleague to be a subscriber. Again, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, and share this channel. Until next time, my fellow Americans, have a lovely evening. Thank you.